Hi, everyone. I hope everyone can see me. I'm working on a teeny light laptop tonight. So if I can't see your comments, I apologize. But my other laptop, I couldn't get the camera to work. So anyway, welcome tonight. I know I said we were going to do a little bit of Q&A, and then I wanted to introduce you to some people. But, I just couldn't wait. I want to go ahead and introduce them right here, right now. You can see who they are. I do want to let you know that the itch you have for more Bigfoot encounters is about to be scratched in a very, very good way. I want to introduce you to Wayne and Tiffany. Previously, Wayne, how about I let you speak for yourself? Why don't you tell them all about what you're doing and, get them excited.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys need a scratching, I'll be happy to, to scratch you up and down.
I'm
Um,
sorry if I said that wrong.
no, you're awesome, ma'am. Um, yeah, I recognize a few names in the chat, so I might not be new to everyone. But when I started back in 2019. I formed a Bigfoot research organization called Manimal Research, and I started a YouTube channel talking to Bigfoot people. A couple years into that, I get approached by Mr. Brian King Sharp, who is the host of Sasquatch Odyssey. He asked me to come on his show because of a documentary that I was asked to be a part of. So I went on, and Brian and I we hit it off. We became really fast friends. He used a couple of my episodes, my past episodes, on his show, and eventually he got around to asking me to take over his show, Paranormal Odyssey, because he started Sasquatch Odyssey, which is hugely successful. It's probably a top 3 Bigfoot podcast in the world, and his audience was asking for paranormal stuff, so he started Paranormal Odyssey. He quickly found that he didn't have the time to run 2 shows, and he added a true crime show, so he was doing 3 shows. So he and I become really good friends, and he asked me to take over for Paranormal Odyssey, and I wasn't going to tell him no. That was a huge opportunity.
I
So
bet.
I gladly did that, and I've been doing that for a couple of years. About a year or so back, reached out to Tiffany, who had been there from day one. Asked her to come on and do some producing roles. She came on as a kind of like an executive producer, and quickly turned into a co-host. To be honest, she does just as much for the show as I do, but paranormal is not my bread and butter. Excuse me. Everyone that knows me knows that I'm a Bigfoot guy, and Brian and I have been talking for over a year now about doing some rebranding over there. So what we have come up with is we're going to change the format of the show. We're changing everything about the show. Paranormal Odyssey will now be known as the Bigfoot Report. So from this point on, we've already made the change over on YouTube. We're doing that currently for the podcast, but we are going to be the Bigfoot Report. And there's not going to be a whole lot to change. The changes that are coming, Miss Nance here has been awesome and instrumental in getting me ready to do. We're going to
I like to help.
continue.
I like to help people.
Yeah. You've been awesome, ma'am. There's stuff that you've done behind the scenes that we're not even going to talk about because I don't want to embarrass you. But you've been amazing.
No, thank
But
you.
what we're doing is we're still going to do our interviews. Tiffany and I do live interviews every Tuesday and every Saturday night. So we're going to continue to do that, but it's going to be Bigfoot related, not paranormal. We're also going to give you guys a couple of encounter episodes, kind of similar to what Nance does over here on Buckeye Bigfoot.
So
And
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you going to keep your Bigfoot encounters that you're narrating? Are those going to be separate? Like if they want to just go listen to just those, or is there going to be a separate playlist or a certain day? How would they find those?
Yes, ma'am. That's a great question. I released our first 2 episodes today of Strictly Encounters, and they are in their own playlist. When you go to our channel, if you just go to videos, they're going to be the first 2 that you come to. But you can go to playlist and look at all of our different sections. So yes, ma'am. They're going to be able to find that. We're hoping that a lot of the people that come over will be interested in the interviews, because we have some of the most awesome people that hang out with us over there. If Tiffany and I decided to stop doing interviews, there would be a small group of people that would hunt us down.
They would riot.
They are a lot.
I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a great thing. A lot of them are in the chat tonight. Mr. Goonie Goo Goo, Chris Blaylock, Troy from Tennessee, and Miss Naoma Finn. I love you, ma'am. We were just talking about you before we went live.
Yes, we were.
These people would hunt us down if we stopped doing interviews. So we're going to keep doing those, but we are going to try to do 2 episodes a week of encounters to add it on to that. So I'm doing a lot of talking, Tiffany. I don't want to take it all. If you want to jump in, ma'am, and kind of take over.
No, you're good at talking. You've covered pretty much everything. I will put out there though, we do have our own specific email. Now, if you want to be on the show, it's a separate email. So if you want to be on the show with us, it's Tiffany Irwin Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com. If you have encounters that you would like to have us narrate, you can send it to the Bigfoot Report podcast at gmail.com. So we're always looking for those. So
I wish I had a way real quick. I didn't think ahead of time. Your new Bigfoot Report logo is awesome.
Thank you.
It's really cool. You're going to see him sitting there with his little laptop, a big Sasquatch. So I think that's really cool. I wish I'd thought ahead. I could have maybe found a way to show that to people.
Yeah, I didn't think about it either.
I didn't think about it. So I thought about everything else apparently, but not that.
And guys, to be honest, Nance is the one. She was instrumental in that. She has helped me in every part of this rebranding. Brian helped me get the podcast going. He taught me so much. The microphone that I'm using, the soundboard, all that stuff, none of that would be possible without Brian's guidance. All of the other stuff, like the Canva and the format, the structure, wouldn't be possible without Nance. And for these 2, just real quick, Nance, I want to brag on you. You, in my opinion, you're a giant when it comes to Bigfoot narration. You are awesome at what you do. Coming up on 90,000 subscribers, that's amazing. For you to tell me that you see something in me and you want to invest in me just means the world to me. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, and having us on tonight means the world, because we work so hard at what it is that we do, and we try to give people what they want, and so I mean, kudos.
I know a lot of, I don't want to name names. I know some channels are very antagonistic. Some are not. Some are not antagonistic towards others, but they really don't want to associate with other channels. And everybody runs their channel their way. And there's nothing wrong with however they run it. They don't have to be really friendly. Nobody says that. I am a friendly person by nature, and I am a helpful person by nature. And a lot of people help me. So I don't know. I don't see, there's so much food at the YouTube table, especially in the world of Bigfoot, that like I said, people are always looking for more Bigfoot encounters. I get emails constantly or comments. Oh, I wish you would put out more than twice a week. I wish you would, do some every day. Well, if I got that many emails, I would, but there's always other channels. So that's why I said, I think there's always room for more. YouTube, 2 more channels showing up doesn't take viewership away from me. Not that I've seen. I mean, maybe it does, but I don't think so.
No.
I would rather see everybody succeed. I don't understand why some don't. So
Yeah, I mean, and that's the world that we live in. Everyone is, or most everyone is out for themselves. Brian welcomed me with open arms. To this day, I'm amazed that he took me under his wing, and it's the same with you. And if I could have half the success that y'all have had, if Tiffany and I can have half the success that you guys have had, we'd be happy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Brian introduced me and Wayne, and it's so funny because I didn't get a chance to send it to you, Wayne. I was going to, but I was going through, and it was January 3rd of 2023 was the very first time you had texted me introducing yourself, saying, hey, Brian wanted me to reach out to you, yada, yada, yada. And I've been here ever since. So you gotta share, and if we're all in it for the same reason, I mean.
Yeah.
So now you both will be doing the narrations, right? So if somebody goes over there, it's not going to be all Wayne they're going to also hear you as well, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tiffany is better than me. I have no problems admitting that at all. But yeah, like the first episode that we put out, there's other episodes that where we have covered and talked about and narrated Bigfoot encounters, but we don't have them listed under the new show, the Bigfoot Report. But there's 2 right now. And both of those, I think the first one has 2 of Tiffany and 1 of me, and then the second one is like 2 and 2. So yeah, you're going to get both of us in every episode.
Okay, that's cool. Earlier I got a couple of questions in, and I was going to do question and answer before I brought you guys on. But a couple of these questions I thought would be neat if we all kind of gave our own answer, because they're not Nance specific.
Okay.
A few of them. I get this one, I think, for every live stream. But do you think the Patterson-Gimlin film is real? Yes or no? For me, it's absolutely, hands down, it's absolutely real. I can't imagine they had the technology to fake that back in 1967. I mean, that was better than Hollywood could do for Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
So how do you guys feel?
I would agree.
Mm-hmm. You would agree.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, the Patterson-Gimlin film was 1967, October of 1967. Yep. I think, as you touched on, Nance, Planet of the Apes, they won the Academy Award for Best Costume. Mm-hmm. And either year before or the year after. It's 2 or 3 years in that time frame. So if that's the best Hollywood could do, Hollywood is top notch. I mean, you got no better. If those apes were the best that you could get back then, how did these cowboys do that?
Right. And let's put that in perspective, considering if you look at the original, the very first Planet of the Apes, I can't swear that all of them, but I believe the majority of all of them on screen, they had their hands and their face and maybe their feet done, but most of them were covered up. You weren't able to see chest muscles. You weren't able to see those kinds of motions when walking. There's a reason they kept them covered up to their neck. So, because it was just too much. So I don't believe that 2 cowboys, even if they had the money, it just wasn't available. It couldn't be done. That's my
when you have the herniation of the calf muscle or the thigh muscle.
Yeah.
I mean, why are they gonna, think that far,
And breast. Why would you put breast on a Bigfoot?
Exactly. I think it was Dr. Meldrum. I watched so much stuff. I wish I'd paid better attention, but it was, I don't remember if it was something on YouTube. And what they discovered is they had cleaned up the Patterson-Gimlin film. And the most interesting thing that caught his attention was there was one frame where you could see the toes were raised up as it went to go put its foot down. And that was something that had to do with the mid-tarsal break. So I think, the toes had lifted up and you could see it clearly. So the heel was down, or the ball of the foot was on the ground, but the toes had lifted up. And that they said was very indicative that you couldn't possibly do that.
No,
You could not
and
possibly do. There's so much that I've watched with that. I guess I really need to start taking better notes because I'm always like, I saw this thing, and then I can't remember what it was because I watched that I just have playlists and everything just plays, while I'm doing housework and doing other things. But
and,
no, I don't believe that they could possibly fake that. So,
and
okay.
because of that film, and listening to the people like you were alluding to, Nance, the people that have broken it down, like Dr. Meldrum, one thing that you will notice, and it's something that I apply to every Bigfoot footage that I see and trying to determine if it's real or not. We as humans, we kind of slide our feet. The bottoms of our feet pretty much stay vertical, as we walk. If you will watch that film, and most reputable Bigfoot encounters, as she takes a step, you can completely see the bottom of her foot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's up. She kicks it up. We don't do that as humans. Try to walk like that. It's weird. It's kind of odd to do. But in almost every step that Patty takes, you can see the bottom of her foot. And that's something that they wouldn't have thought to do in 1967.
I don't think they had enough knowledge, and they certainly didn't have the capability. They were lacking in both of those.
And that's the thing that always brings me back is because it's 1967, guys. They didn't, like you said, they didn't have the capability. And I mean, they took footprint cast the next day, right? So.
And their footprints, a lot of them back then, their casts, it really wasn't, and I could be dead wrong, it really wasn't decoded until much later that those prints were showing a mid-tarsal break, which if you didn't understand anatomy of a lot of the other species, you would never know to try to fake that. And we're talking decades ago. So
Right.
I think that's also very compelling to me personally.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the mystery was solved in 1967. We should have been able to put it to bed then. And the fact that footage isn't enough to prove the existence tells me that it's going to take a body.
I've always said all along, it's going to take a body. I know we talked about earlier, people claim to be experts on this. I would allow very few people in this world to probably say they're experts on Bigfoot. Dr. Meldrum, of course, would certainly be one because, he has a scientific background on top of just his interest. So that is very compelling. But until we have one dead or alive to study scientifically, there will never be belief in it wholesale, certainly by the scientific community. And unfortunately, that is what it will take. I'm not a fan of that thought, but I also recognize that is a true reality. That's a reality.
Yeah. Nance, real quick, if you could pop up Naoma's comment at 818, because it kind of speaks to what I was talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I see. The average human has a 17% bend in their knee when they walk. Patty's bend was nearly 90. You're right. That's extraordinary. And it's one of those things that I don't think the naysayers just like to throw things. Oh, I can walk like that. I'd like to see you do it. Many have tried. The one guy who said he was the guy that did it and had that Hieronymus, whatever. Yeah. I'm sorry. That crappy little costume he held up looked like it came from Halloween Express with some extra tufts glued on. It wasn't even close. I don't know who that clown thought he was going to fool, but nobody is the answer. So yeah. That's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. So, all right. The other one was somebody asked, do you think Bigfoots are in the realm of humans? Now, I'm going to answer what I did because I had to look a few things up. I got really down in the weeds about what the difference is between a hominid and a hominin. And a hominid apparently encompasses the entire species, or not species, the entire world of great apes, modern, current, and extinct. Now, great apes also include us humans, but it also includes orangutans, chimpanzee, gorillas. Hominin is modern and extinct human lines only.
Hmm.
So in my mind, the most, and if someone's out there with a scientific background, Dr. Meldrum, if you're out there listening, shoot me off an angry email and tell me how wrong I am. If I'm wrong, I'm cool with that. But if we assume that Bigfoot did descend or is still a Gigantopithecus, which most people agree is the most likely thing,
Yeah.
that would be in the realm of the great apes. That would be a hominid. It is not in the human lineage. I don't know if that makes sense. But if
Yeah.
you look at the actual scientific breakdown, species, classifications, we split at tribe, I think it is. I think, let me see, did I write that down? We have the same scientific classification all the way down to family. Once you go past family in the scientific classification, our tribes are different. And that is the actual thing, is it is a tribe. We are not, humans are not in the same tribes. They're completely different. You can look it up. So I don't believe that they're in human lineage. I don't any more than I think they're in the great ape realm.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, technically so are we. I don't think of them as human. I do think that they're a human type, or like a human cousin. Like a gorilla to me is not a human,
Right.
but they are very, very close to us. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. Maybe that'll help people out there listening figure out where you stand.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tiffany.
I've never really considered them to be within the realm of human, but we hear so many encounters of, I couldn't shoot it. It looked too human in the face. So, but as far as scientifically, does it line up that way? No.
Well,
I've
I'm
never looked at it that way.
going to jump in here with one thing, talking about how people say they can't shoot them. The last time I was at the Cincinnati Zoo, and I got pretty eye to eye with quite a few of the different apes and one of the gorillas, they look human to me when they looked at you, because you could see the intelligence in them. These were not dumb animals. I mean, I'm not saying I had a great moment with, Harambe at Cincinnati Zoo or anything, but they just didn't strike me as dumb animals. However, when I go to see and I'm seeing the lions or I'm seeing the tigers there, oh, there's intelligence, but it's a cold intelligence. It's very different. I would never mistake them for human, but I could a lot of the others, if you understand the difference. So even if they are in the great ape realm, to me, they're going to still probably feel too human to shoot. Now, there are people out there that have no problem shooting humans.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it'll happen someday.
I mean, my only thing is, I say my only thing, I mean, there might be more, but the only thing I can think of right now is I tend to go back to like Native American thinking and the Native American lore. A lot of them said that they were a different tribe of people, but they didn't know. But they didn't have the technology and the knowledge that we have now. So, my personal thing, I think I've always been in the biological camp. This is a North American primate that we have not caught up with yet. We just don't know enough about it. As far as being a human, I don't put them in that class. No.
Yeah. Okay. It was just an interesting question that someone sent me, so I thought it merited a little bit of a discussion.
Absolutely.
There. Now, here's another one I got that was really interesting, and it said, "Why is it that reports of Bigfoots vary so much? Why don't they all look roughly the same?" My answer is real simple. If I go looking for dogs, not every dog is going to look exactly the same with the same fur color, pattern, height, whatever, but they are all dogs. To me, it stands to reason, however you want to classify the Bigfoot or Sasquatches, however they are in the chart of human, hominid, whatever. The point is, I think that they're going to be as different looking, some of them, as the rest of the animals in the animal kingdom. Not every single animal looks exactly the same. The species will have a lot of differences within their own species. So, they're also usually very different according to where they live, what their environment is, what their diet is. That can affect things over, hundreds or thousands of years. So I don't think they have to look exactly the same. I think a lot of them from certain areas tend to have same characteristics. But couldn't that be said of humans over the whole world? We
Yeah.
react to the environment that we've, spent our evolutionary years in, our food, our diet, of course. So I
Yeah.
don't, I'm not concerned that people say they look different. I don't, humans sure don't look the same. We have head, arms, legs, whatever, but we look different.
If you stood me up next to a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader,
I'm sure you'd like that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but we're gonna look different. I don't look like that, but we're both humans. You know, I mean, you stand me next to an NBA player, 7 foot tall, muscular. We're both humans, but we look different. So I don't buy into that either, Nance.
Yeah, I don't either. And if you hear my dog, he doesn't either.
He's putting his 2 barks in.
Did you hear him? He's a
I mean,
pound. I'm sorry, y'all.
I
but-
understand that. I understand people argue, most red foxes look like red foxes,
Mhm,
but then they don't look a thing like the Arctic fox. They
mhm.
don't look a thing like a gray fox. They're all foxes. That's true. But yeah, I'm not concerned because I think the way I read their email, they were concerned that these reports couldn't be very true because they all look at Bigfoot, or the Bigfoot they look at is described very differently. And I just don't think that that's a compelling reason to
Yeah.
discount, if it's not the ideal Bigfoot size and type or color. So,
Right. Well, and that's what we talked about last night on that Bigfoot podcast live was people formulate this narrative in their head of how things are supposed to be, but it's not reality.
right.
So I absolutely agree with you. Different localities, different diet, they're going to be completely different in those circumstances.
Well, and I also think if we look at different human, I don't want to say tribes, but different human enclaves might be a good word throughout the millennia. If you have people who stay in the same area and they intermarry within a 10 or 20 mile range, which was more common until the invention of the automobile, right? Most people lived and died, I think it was within 20 miles of where they were born. They lived their whole life there. What you had was the same commingling of genetics over and over, not interbreeding, but, the same genetic types kept for thousands of years. That's why people from the Mesopotamic region look very different than those from Ireland, So I think that might also be what's happening with some of these Bigfoot populations. They are staying together. Now, probably not so much because now they're probably being forced to go look further afield for food, for habitat, safety, mates. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
You got any more questions from your audience, Nance?
well, none that I think would really invite a lot of discussion. Like, what's the music at the end of my video? I get that one a lot. Because everybody likes it. I'll tell you what it is. I downloaded it from a paid subscription site called Storyblocks, but you might be able to find it somewhere else. It's called Wonder and Mystery, and the artist is John Pressstone with 2 S's, like press and then tone. So I actually had like 3 or 4 different people ask me that just since the beginning of the year. Did I have an experience? No, I've never had an experience of my own. I had family that did, but as for me, no, I did not. Someone asked me, why don't I put out more stories from this person or that person? I've had a lot of requests. Some people want D from Missouri. Some people want the Sunshine Coast. Some people want this person, that person. There are a lot of reasons. They may not have sent something back in. There may be something with the one they just sent back in that there may be a reason I can't narrate it. There are a lot of different reasons. Trust me, as soon as I get something that I can put out, I put it out, because there's no benefit to me to sit on something, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really think that's about all of them that I had. I didn't get as many this time as I often get. So I don't know.
Well, Nance, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring something up. I'd like to talk about like how you and I met.
Bring it up.
You and I met, and Tiffany. Tiffany was with us last year at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference.
Yep.
This year will be the third one in a row that I've been at. But you were there, and you actually had a booth across from us. Mm-hmm. Brian, the Paranormal World Productions booth. And we had talked a little bit before, so we kind of knew each other, but that's where we kind of made our introduction and met in person. And you walked me and Tiffany over to her name is escaping me.
Susan. She held the Greenville conference. Yes,
exactly, to her booth so that we could meet her. Susan is a lady that puts on the Greenville, Ohio conference where you and I were both speakers at last year. And we got to spend a lot more time together there. I thought that was really cool.
It was. We'll do it again this year. This year, she moved it to Salina, Ohio, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. And I'll be a speaker there. It's the only one I'm doing this year. It's the only event I'm going to. I'm kind of taking a year off for a lot of different reasons. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, she actually got Russ a cord.
She what?
She got Russ a cord.
Oh, yes. I heard about that. Yeah.
So that's going to be awesome. I think that's really going to help her draw in a crowd there.
Yeah, she's the event is growing. Her first year was gangbusters.
So what do you?
Is Nance coming to the cabin for dinner?
Oh, this summer.
There's Astroy. Nance, we were talking before we come on. You told us that you're not coming to the Smoky Mountain Conference.
No, I'm not.
But we're going to be there, and Miss Chris Blaylock, who is in the audience tonight, her and her husband, Gary, or Goonie Goo Goo, they have rented I think it's a 6-bedroom, 4-bath cabin, mm-hmm. And
it's so nice.
It's so nice. A bunch of us are staying there, and the night after the conference, we're having a dinner. Nice. And we're inviting all of our friends and like members of our channel. Mm-hmm. To come and hang out. So you would have been more than welcome, but you're not going, right?
No, I'm not, unfortunately.
You should come for that barbecue, Nance. I'm telling you.
Troy can make some barbecue.
I'm definitely not going to be able to make. We're not. We got some things going on this year that we're pretty much staying close to home for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're not making many appearances this year for just a lot of different reasons. So, yeah.
But I did want to ask you, being from Ohio, Nance, do you know anything about the new location that Susan's holding the event at?
Yes and no. I know it has a huge Bigfoot. I don't want to call it a statue. It's the county fairgrounds. I've never been there. I've heard good things about it, though. So I hear it's supposed to be really nice. It's big. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I'll try to get more information. I got to talk to Susan soon about all of that. So I don't even know if I'm going to have a booth there, to be honest, because I'm not investing in any merchandise this year. I make a lot of my own merchandise, but like I said, this year we got some things going on family-wise and whatnot. So I don't intend to be traveling much, if at all. And to answer you, Old Bear, am I coming to Salt Fork this year? I need to get together with you and Barb on some dates. I'll see what's going on. Like I said, we got some family stuff that, it is what it is. But if I can, I will.
Always first.
Yeah, it's only about 3.5 hours from my house, so it's not too bad. It's very doable. But we don't camp. I have to go to the Salt Fork State Lodge and get a room. So that's what happens when you have arthritic back and all kinds of stuff. It just
I feel that with my shoulder, and I think it's growing in my knees. That arthritis. I feel it. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, I don't know. I'll find out more from Susan. Was there something you were looking for in particular about her venue?
No, she was really, really excited about the new venue, and I just didn't know if you knew anything about it.
I've never been there. It's supposed to be really big. It's the fairgrounds for that county. It's Salina, Ohio, Celina, or is it Sel? I don't remember.
Okay.
Now I'll have to look it up. So, and everybody, be sure to get your tickets for that event early if you want. I think entrance to the event is free, but if you want to hear the speakers, I think there's tickets for that. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
it works. So,
I had the website pulled up here, but I didn't want to step on any toes
go
by
ahead,
trying to
do
pull it
it,
up.
do it, do it.
Let me see if I can. Do that? Yeah, you have to share it, Nance.
Yep.
All right,
There
and
we go.
I'll control it. There you go. Speakers there. There's Mr. Russell Cord.
I got to get her my bio. She asked for a bio like a month ago, and I don't think I've done it yet. I'm so terrible.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. He looks like a
I hear
little
he's a big
wanker.
deal. I hear he's a big deal on YouTube. That's what I've heard.
Miss Naoma. She is in the chat. Love you, ma'am.
Look,
With the
she's so
awesome hair.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she's
so
so
pretty.
gorgeous. I mean, it's such a great photo of her.
Yeah, I love her. D.A. Roberts, I had an amazing time hanging out with him last year. He is a cool guy.
He was
was
a
on our
very
show.
nice
Mhm.
guy.
He's super nice.
Yeah, him and his wife. I think it was his wife there with him. Really, really lovely people.
I'm not familiar with Mike Miller.
Nope, but we'll get to know him, I bet.
Yes, we will. Robbie Raines, of course, was there last year as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He's another really good guy. Robbie Raines does the tracking class. I think DA is going to help him. I'm doing the print, like the casting class again. I did that last year. And then who is that?
Oh, some crazy chick.
She looks very happy with that Bigfoot there.
Oh, yeah, that was down in Gatlinburg at one of the stores. It was a huge statue, and I was like, oh, got to take my picture. So,
It was so much fun. Some of the pictures from last year. It was a great, great time.
I liked everything. I was not happy with the food at one of the food trucks, but that was just my own personal gripe.
Oh, yeah.
But
There's Naoma.
everything else, I really loved. I really, really loved it.
Yeah, I had my son. There's me and my son. He was blessed with the height and the looks in the family. So, and I'm 6 foot tall. So there you go. But he got us both a banana pudding funnel cake, and oh my God, I was in heaven.
You sent me a picture of that banana pudding. Did you eat it all in one?
Oh
sitting?
no, I couldn't. I could not eat it all.
That thing was huge. I was like, man, he's gonna be sick.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got, Nancy. If you want to take it down.
All righty.
I just wanted to share a little bit about what we did last year.
So does anybody out there have any questions for Wayne or Tiffany or just about Bigfoot in general? And again, I'm trying to use my itty bitty notebook laptop that's like this big. So if I can't read over here, somebody else point it out for me if I miss something good. Does anybody have anything?
I think someone up here, let's see. Your chat's very busy.
Yeah.
Lar Charco.
Yeah, Naomi's asking a question there.
At what time?
8:33 p.m. Wayne, Tiffany, and Nance, what is your take on the whole Nephilim theory regarding Sasquatch? And I'm going to be the first to sit here and tell you, I'm not going to come on here and try to act like I know everything, because I don't. I am not learned enough in that topic to, I feel, give an opinion.
That's at 8:39, Nance. That's one of the.
I was looking at 8:35. I'm like, what?
It's one of the new ones.
Oh, okay. All right.
Low
There it is.
Charco.
Mhm.
There you go.
There it is.
Nancy, you want to go on that?
I don't think I have enough information to give an informed answer. I'm not as well versed in the Nephilim theory. I know a lot of people really are proponents of that.
Mhm.
I really haven't read into it or looked into it enough to be really. Yeah, I don't think I can give a real proper answer. I really can't.
Well, see, our answers match. What do you? It's on
Yeah.
you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I wish
Well,
I probably should look at it a little more.
I got cussed out. I also co-host a podcast with Brian King Sharp called That Bigfoot Podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out, please do so. It is not for children. It is a very, very adult Bigfoot podcast. We get pretty heated and the language can be quite colorful. But I made the comment on there one time that I don't think that Bigfoot has anything to do with a Nephilim. I don't think it has anything to do with religion. I think it's just my personal opinion. I'm not right. I'm not wrong. Nobody knows. I don't think that we should include Sasquatch in religion. And there was this Christian that emailed in and all but cussed me the heck out. Called me everything but a white man. How dare I think anything like that? Challenged me on, do I read the Bible? Have I ever read the Bible? And I'm a Christian man. I pray to God every day. I have a great relationship with Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And I'm proud of it. I don't think Bigfoot should have anything to do with religion. I don't think that they're fallen angels. I just don't. But this man proceeded to rip me apart on this email that claimed to be a Christian. And I don't know, but my opinion is I don't think that they're Nephilim. I just haven't seen enough to make me feel that way. I don't want to upset anyone. It's just we all have opinions, and that's mine.
But the thing is, in the Bigfoot community, no one's allowed to have an opinion that differs from someone else.
Exactly.
And
There
isn't
are
that awful?
There are huge, huge egos in this community. Not everybody is, but a lot of them. I am never going to push what my belief is, how Bigfoot is framed on someone else. I've said many times, I'm not a believer. When I think about Bigfoot, the first thing I think about is not whether or not he can do mind speak or not. It's not my belief. However, if that's what someone else believes, who am I to say you're dead wrong?
Yeah.
Because guess what? We have crossed the Rubicon. When you start saying you believe in Bigfoot, I don't know how you can do it in degrees. You've crossed the Rubicon. You've taken that leap of faith. Why is yours the correct one, but nobody else's is? And again, until we have one we can study, no one's an expert. No one knows everything. And so those people who, I've seen it too, even on my channel in comments, well, you don't know anything about them. They don't eat this. They don't eat. How would you know?
How do you know?
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
Have you had dinner with a Bigfoot?
I mean,
Then that's what I was saying. People formulate this own narrative in their head, and how do you know? How do
I think
you
until
know?
we know. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tiffany.
I was just going to say, how do you know this much about something that we struggle to even find in the woods?
I allow that other people have different ideas, and I think that that's a healthier way to go about it than suppressing every other idea. The whole point of science is to, and I'm not saying we're scientists, but even in science, the point is you can challenge things that are well thought to be the truth. And again throughout centuries, people have challenged what we thought was right. And we go through a methodology to prove or disprove, but no one should be shutting it down. That's how it works. That's how you keep learning. And I think that's very important even in this field, because it is until we know it's until we get one, I should say, we know nothing.
It's all speculation.
Yeah. It's all speculation. Good question. Thank you, Neoma. I saw one right under this one. What are the telltale signs that there's a Sasquatch on your property? How about I let one of you two take a crack at it? I'm doing all the talking. I'm getting tired.
Well, how about I share what we experienced in 2021?
Please do.
Here on our property. We live in Roanoke, Virginia. We live on the side of a mountain. And my husband and I love to do yard work. I love to mow the grass. Okay, that is my therapy. So I was mowing the grass. We live on a downslope. So let me put it on the screen. If our house is here, I was finished mowing this part and then it goes down. So he was cutting all of the vines and stuff off the fence. When I'm finished with my part, I go up and I sit in front of our house. And so he called me and I thought he just wanted some water or something. This is like, it was 2021 now. It's 4 years have passed. It was in the evening. I want to say, and he can correct me in the chat over here because I'm pretty sure he's in the room. Late June, July, August, somewhere in there. I can't remember. It was still warm. And he said, August of 2021. Thank you, Zach. And he was like, hey, do they come out in the day? And I was like, what? And he said, Bigfoot, do they come out in the day? And I was like, well, day watchers, And I was like, why? And he said, because I think I just saw one. Buddy, I'm telling you, I was on my feet. I was down all them stairs. He's like, and Zach's 6'1", 285, 290. And he was petrified, Nance. He was petrified. He didn't even finish doing what he was doing with the yard. And he's very anal about his yard, okay? He put it down. He didn't want me to leave his side. I'm 5'4". I'm like this big compared to him. He did not want me to leave. And he said it was just effing gone. And he was weed eating. And he had turned his music down. He was fixing the wire on the bottom, or the line rather. And he happened to look up. It was like, you just feel something, this presence. And he looked up and he said it gruffed at him. And it was just like, and then gone. He said it was like 2 seconds. And he was like, but it was so big and it was so fast. He said it was like somebody was throwing a walnut or a baseball through the trees. It made that little click noise and then it was gone. Like it wasn't even there. But he was petrified after that. So I guess to answer your question, Chad, you see one.
Yeah, I think seeing one would be, first and foremost. But the not so subtle, I would say tracks. Mm-hmm. Finding tracks, things disappearing. Just from the people that we have talked to over the years, the people that we've had on the show, we've had people talk about their dog food going missing. Mm-hmm. They're like chicken feed going missing. They're chickens and like hogs and like farmers, like having actual livestock go missing and lights being torn down and things like that. That's all, really that I could think about. And if you're experiencing something like that, first off, contact Manimal Research at manimalresearch.org.
Shameless
and we will come out and check it out. But there are some things that you can do to help deter them. I see Old Bear in the chat. He and I go way back. Old buddy of mine. He deals with a lot of that stuff. So he would be a good one to ask that question to.
From what I've heard, there seems to be a lot of unusual things that will happen sometimes in clusters, and you don't understand what's really going on or why things have happened until you have a sighting. And then you're like, aha, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
I
yeah.
was going to say,
yeah. Sorry. There's a little lag, I think, on my little tiny laptop here. So forgive me. But people, of course, tracks are one. finding unusual tree and stick formations isn't as common, I think, near or on private properties as they are out in forested areas. On your property, yes, things going missing, things being left where there shouldn't be anything, piles of rocks or this or that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people say they've come and they've found things on their steps or their porches, only later to find out that there was a Bigfoot in the area. Um, a lot of people have heard things, of course, at night. That's always, and I don't mean the house, but a lot of people like, I could swear something's breaking branch or something's walking over there. I've heard that a million times. I've heard, they'll be sitting out on the porch or sitting inside with the windows open, and all of a sudden they do smell like a zoo animal kind of scent, but they don't quite know where it's coming from. I remember one email I got, somebody said, we were sitting there and we're rural, so we thought, gosh, do we have a leak with our septic line? It smelled to them like sewage, fresh sewage. And the next day, in the next couple of days, they kept going out and checking, inspecting for their sewage, or their septic tank, but they couldn't find anything. But they kept smelling that raw sewage smell. And then they found out about 2 weeks later, they believed they had a Bigfoot on the property. So the thing is, Chad, I don't think there's any one answer to that. I think there are different scenarios where they leave different things. And I think there are a lot of scenarios where they don't leave you any sign. There's no sign at all until you almost run into them. And sometimes I think they're there a lot more and we never see them. We never have a clue. That's my opinion. I don't think they're
everywhere. I can't agree with that more, Nance.
Yeah. I think that for every report we've gotten, there's probably 100 that didn't even know they had a near close encounter.
Well, and talking about the rocks, we had that, but it was after Zach's very brief 2-second encounter. We have a rock wall up in front of our house. And so, but there were rocks that were coming from across the street where there's a creek. They were finding themselves in our driveway in a straight line, like perfectly straight, like right in the middle of our driveway. Like we would have to move them to be able to get the car out. So, but that didn't start until after he had his encounter. So I feel you with the rocks.
Yeah. I'm seeing quite a few other ones. Let me grab this one. Neoma, Wayne, this is for you. How do you feel about Dogman? She asks with a snicker. Snicker's my favorite word.
I love you, ma'am. This is the only time since I've known Naomi that I feel like she has gotten like a little pissy with me, like upset with me. And it's because I don't know how I feel about Dogman. And that's my way of saying I don't know if they exist. I think the sightings that have been out there for Dogman could quite possibly be a misidentified Bigfoot. People talk about the different kinds of Bigfoot that there are out there. The Gugway. I mean, how people know there are different kinds of Bigfoot for a species that we don't even know exists. I don't know. I don't understand that. But people say there's like 4 different kinds, and the Gugway like is the worst of the worst, the face eaters, and they have a snout. From what I've heard, couldn't that be a Dogman? Couldn't that what you're seeing not be part dog, part man, but actually a different kind of Bigfoot? But to me, it's hard enough getting people to wrap their mind around Bigfoot to go ahead and throw in a 7-foot tall dog walking on 2 legs that will eat you.
But see, we crossed that Rubicon. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying I believe in Dogman. I'm going to allow that other people believe in it, and I will let them have their little sacred cows of belief. And I'm not having a problem with it. But everybody's got to have their own thing.
It's funny because I don't even think I told you, but this is actually going to be one of the things we talk about on our roundtable part 2 on the 19th.
Okay.
So everybody got together. Ristal made this whole section on Discord, different roundtable topics to, you know, talk about with Bigfoot, and Dogman came up, and, you know,
So everyone out there that's watching tonight, if y'all wanted to check that out, Miss Naoma will be a part of that roundtable. We do something kind of different. We don't have the experts come on. We have our listeners, our family come on, the people behind the scenes. We brought them on to have a roundtable just to see what they think. And the last time we did it, we had such a great time. We didn't have enough time to get it done. We're doing a part 2, and that is what, next Saturday?
The 19th at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about Dogman there. So hope everyone can tune in for that.
Okay. Well, I see one from, it looks like Tommy Ryan. I think this is interesting. A lot of people may not know. Where are y'all from? I love the y'all. Where are y'all from? And have you had your own experience? Tommy, I am originally from right here in Butler County, Ohio. It's just north of Cincinnati. I live out in the rural sticks right now, which I absolutely love. I have a 45-acre cornfield next to me as my neighbor, best neighbor ever. Very quiet, love it. I've lived a lot of other places. My husband was in the military, so I've lived a lot of other places. I've done a lot of other traveling, but yes, southwestern Ohio. The Miami Valley is still my home. So I'm here in Ohio. I'm a true Buckeye through and through. Wayne?
You want me? You want me?
Whichever.
All right, I'll go. I am in southeast Tennessee, Chattanooga to be exact. One of our research areas is a place called Big Frog Mountain. It's part of the Cherokee National Forest, and I always joke it's one of my favorite places to go. It's creepy as hell out there. It really is. Old Bear has been there. He came down and went to an event down there. This is where I'm talking about, y'all. I always joke that you stand in Tennessee, you could throw a rock into Georgia, you can pee into North Carolina. It's down there in the corner. There's a cat.
Yes, I've been trying to keep her busy, and she keeps circling. So sorry.
So I'm
you
in
got a cat, I got a
Southeast.
dog. So
Yeah, I'm in Southeast Tennessee in the Chattanooga area. We do research down here in Southeast Tennessee. North Georgia is a heavy area where we get some activity. And to answer your question, I've had several experiences, but my only believed encounter was in North Georgia, or my only believed sighting, I should say, was in North Georgia. I've had several encounters, but I have a thermal image of something that, when we did a size comparison, was around 8 foot tall. There was something swaying back and forth, and a smaller something in front of it, like scurrying, like playing is the best way I could put it, moving from left to right, running around. That was in a place called Pigeon Mountain in Lafayette, Georgia. If you go to the BFRO website, and in my opinion, no matter what you think about the BFRO, that website is an amazing tool. That database of sightings is awesome. If you're going into a new area, pull it up, pull the county that you're going into up, and see how many sightings. If you will pull up Walker County, Georgia, which is where Pigeon Mountain is, they have 5 reports from the BFRO. Every one of those are on Pigeon Mountain. So that's why we went there. We saw this thing one night. It was in January. It was bitter cold in the single digits. And all of my equipment froze, all of my equipment, the batteries drained. Everything I bring out on every expedition is charged 100%. There's no way these batteries should have died. I didn't have enough battery on my FLIR to take a video. It would only take stills, and it died 2 different times. And the third time, when I got back to it, the thing was gone. So yeah, that's my only one belief sighting.
Well, I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. I haven't had an encounter per se, not like my husband. I've had the experiences, with the rocks and everything like that. I've had more, I think, paranormal experiences than I have Bigfoot experiences. So really, the most I could tell you was just, what my husband encountered that day. But nothing with me personal. I want to see one, but I don't know if I want to see one.
I always said I want to see one while I'm in a moving car, and I want to see it with binoculars as I'm driving away.
There you go.
I don't
Really
run
far
fast
away.
anymore. I do want to circle back around real quick to two things. I forgot to say, no, I have not had my own experience. I had family that had an experience. And I want to touch on, Wayne brought up BFRO. I've said this before. I've said this again. I know a lot of people they start foaming at the mouth when you mention BFRO. And you know what? I'm okay with that. You go ahead, you have your little foam mouthy session. You can hate them all you want, but there are two things I'm going to ask you to remember. One, the people that made all those reports to the BFRO, they had nowhere else to go when they made those reports. Those are real people that made those reports. Don't throw them out just because you don't like maybe the guy that runs BFRO or you believe that there's a conspiracy. It's okay to think those things. I'm not saying anything one way or the other. I'm saying don't discount those people and don't throw every BFRO investigator under the bus either. I've met quite a few. They're really good, serious people.
Yes.
They're not perfect. They're human too. But remember, they're not paid. They're not getting a dime for it. They are volunteers. They spend their money. They spend their money on gas, driving, so they also have a passion for this topic. I understand you don't like the organization. That's okay. But please don't forget the people. Don't discount, like what you said, even if you're going somewhere new, that BFRO database is probably the most invaluable. I think the next best would be Bobby Short's website. She has quite a bit on there. I can't think of what it's called. Gee, I'll think of it later. But there's hundreds of reports on hers as well. They're not documented in the same way, but she collected a lot throughout the years in her life. She was another that was a really invaluable investigator. So please, I know people don't like BFRO, and that's okay. You don't have to like them, but reading through their reports, there's a huge myriad of information. I've been asked before, am I considering putting all of my emails into a big database? Now, that's kind of what I used to do. I was a business analyst. I'm used to dealing with aggregate data running into the tens of thousands of lines in an Excel sheet. But I didn't do it when I began because I didn't think this would grow into anything so big. It was just a passion. To go back now, literally through thousands of emails, collecting pertinent information from them and aggregating it all into data sets, I just don't think I've got the time. I have considered it because I realize how valuable, and literally to me, it is a data set in a manner of speaking, the BFRO website, all their reports. And I mean, I don't know of anywhere else you can go by state, country, and start pulling everything together for one area. It's invaluable. So don't throw it out with the bathwater is all I was trying to say. Sorry, get off my soapbox now.
No, you're fine. And if I can add a little bit to that, Nance, the big reason a lot of people don't like the BFRO is because Matt Moneymaker only believes that they're biological. He won't accept anything outside of that. But I was invited to go on a BFRO expedition by Miss Lori Wade down here. She does the Tennessee and the North Georgia expeditions. Awesome lady, a very good friend of mine. I love her. She invited me to go out and do one of these expeditions. And what I learned on that thing with 35, 40 people, most of them talked about woo. Most of them talked about having strange encounters outside of the biological and scientific camp. So they're not all like Moneymaker.
I could be wrong. If Les Stroud is out there listening, he can come whack me over the head. But I believe that Les Stroud mentioned at one point something about not necessarily mind speak. I think he did.
Yeah,
he did. Absolutely.
In the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee.
Okay, thank you. Again, I watch so much stuff. I should take notes, but I thought it was him. I've said it before. I think Les Stroud is more than just a credible person. he's not somebody who is easily frightened when he's out in the wild. I think if he hears something, he's going to know what it is. If he doesn't, well, I think we should listen to him. So my point is, mind speak isn't something I first think of when I think about Bigfoot. However, I've crossed that Rubicon. I believe in Bigfoot. So who am I to say that there isn't mind speak, or that they aren't Nephilim, or that they aren't? I'm not going to say that they are or they aren't. The same with the whole thing of what Matt Moneymaker says, that they're just corporeal. They're just physical.
And speaking of the mind speak, I'm going to give all of your listeners an early Christmas present right now, Nance. Go check out the Telepathy Tapes podcast. Brian and I go over this in an episode of that Bigfoot podcast, and it is literally the only time on air that I have cried. I broke down during this episode, and I cried like a little girl.
Yeah.
There is proof, I mean, indisputable proof that these kids and young adults with autism that are nonverbal have the ability to mind speak. They set up, y'all, you think I'm crazy? Look up Telepathy Tapes right now. Go to the website, listen to the website, or listen to the podcast. You will be amazed. If you don't cry, you don't have a soul. Because these kids and these young adults, we got 18-year-old kids in school that are being taught their colors, their colors and their alphabet, when in reality, they speak 3 or 4 different languages that they've never heard before.
Right.
I mean, they're savants. I can't get into it. It's way too much to get into right now. But everyone listening right now, please do yourself a favor and go listen to the Telepathy Tapes.
Yep.
Well, I think that we just need to allow that people have differences in what they believe, just because, like I said, mind speak isn't the first thing I think of when I think of Bigfoot. Doesn't mean I don't believe that it can't be real. I hope that distinction is understandable. So I think that's a vital thing. Again, everybody fights over stuff like that.
And I think a lot of it is just, things that it's a big ask for a lot of people. And we get that, 100% get that, but don't just, throw it away. Research it a little bit before you make up your mind.
I understand. I know, a lot of people call it the woo factor. They won't have anything to do with it. And that's probably where Matt Moneymaker was when he was doing BFRO. And maybe it's because that's just not something he believes in and wants to document. And that's okay. But the rest of those reports are really serious. So I do pay attention to those reports. I do. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. I'm sure there are plenty out there. And I just saw my husband responded to Robin that Sage was on screen a few minutes ago. I hate to tell you, Robin, that was actually Sage's mother, Sweet Pea. She's a little bit pushy, a little bit possessive. But no, Sage is still in her tiny velociraptor stage where she just runs around the house tearing stuff up. No longer looks cute for pictures.
How old?
She's 2.5.
My daughter will be 4.
Okay. No, Sage is a cat.
Oh, okay. I was thinking human. Yeah.
Sage is a little bit of a celebrity on my channel. Summer 2022, I had a stray cat come around. She was obviously pregnant. Took pity on her. I took her in, and she gave birth to 5 kittens.
Oh, wow.
I got her fixed and kept her. That's the one that was just trying to butt her head in the screen here. That's Sweet Pea. And then I kept 1 kitten. I found homes for the other 4. I had them all spayed and neutered, got all their shots. That was part of the agreement of getting one of the kittens. We took care of all of that beforehand because I don't want them reproducing.
Very cool.
So anyway, Sage was the kitten we kept, and she is a holy terror. So when it all happened, everybody got to see all the cute little baby kitten pics, and Sage was the one we kept, and she became a little bit of a celebrity because every couple of weeks I'd put up a new picture of her being cute. And then at about 1.5 years old, it was like she was an angry teenager and just decided she would, anytime she saw me with a picture, she'd just turn her little butt to me or, just a really fussy cat. She was sassy, real sassy. There you go. Sage is the star of the show when she hangs. Yeah, and she has shown up before. She used to get on the back of my chair and look at everybody.
Is that the one that showed up a little while ago?
That was
no, that was her mother.
Okay.
Yeah. Sage would get on the shelves behind me and just hang out like a little vulture. So yeah, see everybody. Oh, there's somebody else loves Sweet Pea. Yeah, that was Sweet Pea, Sage's mother. Everybody loves Sage. She was such a little celebrity. So everybody's like, why don't I put up more pictures of her? Because she's a tiny little velociraptor right now. She's in her crappy stage, usually between 2 to like 3.5, 4 years old. It's like they're teenagers and they're sassy and they're crappy and
yeah. I mean, I don't know why I heard when you said Velociraptor stage, why I thought of my daughter. I don't know why I would have done
Because she's 3.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry, Robin. I will try to get some good pictures of Sage this next week or two. So anyway, not that everybody cares about my cats, but quite a few do on this show. So,
and isn't that what's awesome about this community, Nance? I mean, if you weren't in Bigfoot, if you weren't interested in this topic, nobody would know about your cats. Nobody would care.
I didn't think anybody would know or care when I started this.
Yeah, you don't. But some of the best people I've ever met, lifelong friends, have come from Bigfoot. I mean, who would have thought that?
Not me. Not when I started. Honest to goodness, I've said it a million times. I was just a chick with a microphone sitting in a creepy concrete basement. I thought, who's going to listen to me? Mm-hmm. And that was another question I have recently gotten. And you and I have talked about that. We talked about it backstage. Somebody once asked me 2 questions that kind of go together, which is, how did I learn to do this narration? And, when I think about that, and the other thing was, why don't I sound the same when I'm talking to someone like this as I do when I'm narrating? And here's a quick fact. No one taught me to do this. I taught myself to do this, and I taught myself to do this from reading. And when I read, I have a different voice in my head when I read a book. And I've always done that since I was a child because I didn't read in a monotone way to myself. I read to entertain myself. And so that's how this started coming about. So when I narrate, I'm reading. And when I do that, my voice changes, my cadence changes, everything changes. I'm still not doing it. I can't reproduce it when I'm just talking. If I am reading something, it changes. That's the best I can tell you. I did not do this for a living. I was a boring business analyst working Excel formulas all day. No one taught me to do this. I've been accused of being somebody, Delilah. Somebody said something about I'm definitely Delilah. No, I'm not. I don't know who Delilah is, but Delilah, I'm sorry if people think you're me. So,
and guys, for Nance's audience out there that don't quite understand where this come from, we were talking about this literally minutes before we went live tonight, and I told Nance that just today I was listening to some of her stuff, and it just occurred to me how good she is at this. It is a gift that she has, and I'm envious because I don't have it. When you guys, if you will do us the amazing honor of going over and checking out our channel, you will see I'm a work in progress. I will get better, but I'm not the best narrator in the world, but Nance may be, because just the inflection and the passion in her voice. And I wanted to know if she was taught that, if she learned it.
No.
Or what? That's what brought all of this up, but I cannot compliment you enough, ma'am.
Well, thank you. And again, I can only tell you it's how it sounds in my head when I read something. Because a lot of people have asked me, oh, do you have any good tips? I've said a million times, if you write something, before you send it, I don't care if it's a simple email for work. If you can, and you're worried about this, take that email and you read it out loud.
Yes.
You will quickly find everywhere that there might be a problem, because your mouth can't fix what you're reading the same way your brain can. So when I read things to myself, I'm reading with those kinds of inflections and intonations, because that's how I entertained myself as a child. When you listen to TV, they don't talk like this. When people do that, you're like, they're crappy actors or whatever. So yeah, I don't know how to tell it better than that. Nobody taught me how to do this. So,
Well, you're very good at it.
well, I do want to give a plug again. Don't forget, everybody, if you have not already gone over there, you need to look for the Bigfoot Report. That's what Wayne and Tiffany, you're going to find them on podcasts as of Monday. Previously, they were Paranormal Odyssey, and you could find them on podcasts everywhere as well as YouTube. So, make sure you check them out, because he's got 2 new episodes just out today, but he's going to be putting out more Bigfoot encounters every week. And I've said it before, we're always looking for more Bigfoot encounters. There's never enough. I don't care. I've had people, they go from Cam's channel to Lynn's channel to Lynn's daughter-in-law's channel over to Steve to How to Hunt to my channel. And then they're looking for, they go from channel to channel to channel, because there's never enough in a day for them to listen to. We can't produce it fast enough. So my point is, Wayne and Tiffany are going to try to help with that. So definitely go over and check them out. I remember how hard it is to get started. The more you can just give him a listen, if you like him, you like him, Tiffany's style, hit that subscribe button. I can't tell you how hard it is on YouTube. A like button and a comment go so far in helping a channel. It's hard to, I can't overstate that enough. So I don't put out too many pleas for people, but yeah, let's do it. Let's give them a nice launch with the Bigfoot Report.
Thank you.
You are awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yes. That was very sweet.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, folks, you guys got anything else? I know we've already burned up more than an hour, which I'm surprised.
It's easy to do.
It is.
It is. And I hate these live streams. Before, my husband could tell you, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't have anything to say. And then I get on here and it's like, I can't shut up. So,
when you're amongst good people and the conversation is good, the time flies.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, D-Fuss. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate every single like, every single subscribe, comment. Like Nan said, it puts us in front of people with the algorithm that maybe haven't seen us before or even know we exist.
Yeah. So. And it is hard if you don't feed that algorithm. I'm also, my own algorithm has been, quite frankly, down the toilet on and off for the last year and a half. I don't know what happened. It was going gangbusters for the first 3.5 years. And then about a year and a half ago, it was June. I want to say it was last June. All of a sudden, everything took a nosedive. And I don't know what or why. I was getting 1,000 to 1,500 subscribers a month. Views were very, very high. And all of a sudden, I'm like 100 subscribers a month. What? When did that? What? And I don't know why, because everyone always asks. I only bring that up, not like I'm complaining. I'm not. I know YouTube readjusts itself all the time and the algorithm goes on what people are listening to. I understand that. But I'm just saying the algorithm is so temperamental sometimes. It's hard to, when you're starting out, it's really hard. That's why I just want people to understand how much a simple hit the like button and make a comment, what it can do for channels when they're trying to launch is astronomical. It can't be overstated. So thank you, everyone, for helping Wayne and Tiffany. I hope that we can get them launched in a really good way.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it.
What's this? Somebody just said, hang on. please list your channel so I can find them. Is
there any way you can?
You know what? Let us talk
Hang on,
amongst
can I pull it
yourselves.
up?
Let me go to YouTube and I can link it. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Okay, I was going to see if I could pull it up and maybe share my screen.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. Go down to present.
Yeah, hang on.
You got to open another screen, though.
Yeah.
We had this trouble before, Nance.
I'm not StreamYard savvy. I've got to learn because I have people saying, I really wish you'd do a live stream more often. Okay, so let me see. We're going
a lot of people in here watching you.
Let me open that tab here. Well, live streams do okay, but okay, here we go. All right. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like and how to get there. It's really easy.
There we are.
Okay, so this is what you're looking for. You're looking for the Bigfoot report. That's what it's going to look like. And you can see his the nice, cool little logo with the little Sasquatch sitting there with his little bitty laptop.
He's filling out his report.
In orange for the balls, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can see.
What is up, everybody? It's Wayne. Welcome back to the Bigfoot Report.
That's one of our new episodes.
That's one of the new episodes, right? So, hope everybody can find that. Let's see. I don't know where you were before, Wayne, but you're at, if I can see here, I'm half blind, 2,880.
That's where we were when we started.
Okay. Well, it'll change soon, I hope.
I hope so. Well, I mean, I know we've already added like 5 or 6.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Well, all right, everybody. So take note and give them a nice welcome. Well, oh, I see. Somebody says that's for Wayne. Let's see. Here it is. That's for Wayne. What about Tiffany? Tiffany actually helps Wayne on this. I better let you guys speak. You guys can tell it better than me.
Yeah,
right.
This is our show.
Yeah,
the Bigfoot Report is Tiffany and myself.
Yeah, this is ours. You're gonna hear me narrating. If you look in the playlist right there, there's several. We do missing person reports. There's a segment in there with Spooky Sundays. When we were Paranormal Odyssey still, I would go in and narrate a spooky story, and it was released every Sunday. All of that is in our playlists. Again, we have our live shows every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. This is a combined thing. So you'll hear me reading and you will hear Wayne reading in these newer episodes that he put up today.
Yeah, there's the 2 new episodes. So when you see that orange background with the Bigfoot report, those are the new ones.
Those are the encounters, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys are going to be in Tennessee in July for the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference, we are going to be there as well. Would love to meet you.
Please come hang out with us.
Sounds like a plan. All right, folks. Well, I think we've about covered it. Does anyone else have anything else? I feel like I'm holding Tiffany and Wayne hostage here tonight.
You're good.
No, you're fine, ma'am.
All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and call it for tonight. I appreciate everyone for showing up. I really do, because I've said it a million times. This channel is nothing without all of you out there. So thank you, my dear Sasquatch. So thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that you guys took the time to come. Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a good night. I will see all the Sasquatch again on Tuesday. Good night, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.